Hey, everybody, welcome to Know Before You Go, ITW edition. I'm your host, Jaymie Scotto Cutaia, CEO and founder of JSA, and I'm so excited to be joined by my good friend, Scott Willis. He is the CEO of DartPoints. And we should also note, Scott is a featured speaker at ITW this year, which is coming up very quickly, May 14th through the 17th at the Gaylord National Resort and Convention Center in National Harbor, Maryland. Scott, thank you so much for joining us to talk about ITW, especially when it's like precious hours leading into that we have left leading into this big event. Welcome.
Thanks, Amy. I appreciate you having me. This is always fun and exciting to, first of all, get an opportunity to chat with you, but definitely excited about ITW. Excited about the panel that we're on, but more specifically, this is just such a great event, great networking event, and lots of great conversations that are in front of us next week. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, it is such a wonderful time for our industry globally to come together. Again, like you said, do that critical networking and sharing that education, which leads me to your panel, which I think is so interesting. It's entitled, What Does Recent Large Corporate M&A Activity Signal About the Future Deal Making? A really interesting take on M&A. Can you share some details on your panel and maybe what you might hope for attendees to walk away with?
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually excited about this. Sometimes when I'm on the panels, the subject matter isn't exciting, but this is a great one. First, we've got for those that don't know, Fedor Smith. He's the president and managing partner of Atlantic ACM. He's one of the brightest minds in our industry. So we've got a great moderator. We're set up for a good discussion, and we're still kind of working on it. But I really suspect we're going to hit a number of different angles. I think we're going to talk about the direction of large M&A. What are some of the drivers? What are the risks, particularly around potential slowing of the global economy and how that might affect? I think we'll probably touch a little bit on when I said some of the drivers, right? Core assets being some of the topics of discussion around large M&A. So those are going to be some of the themes. I think we're going to stretch out and talk about the investor side as well. Obviously, we're going to keep this within the digital infrastructure space. The panel has participants largely from data center and the fiber side. So you're going to probably see most of our discussion address that. And then I think we'll probably step it down within both those sectors and talk about some of the mid-market M&A activities and the effects and impacts that might happen there. So we're gonna cover the spectrum. We're gonna put a lot in kind of this 50-minute segment. So for those of you that are thinking whether this is worth your time, I invite you to please join us out, seek out this panel. We're going to have a great discussion, and hopefully we'll have some knowledge transfer that takes place that you'll benefit from. So please join us.
And another interesting thing that I keep hearing is that a lot of investors are looking for companies to invest in that have great sustainability plans, which brings me to DartPoints, of course, and that you yourself are a contributing author to this Amazon bestseller, Greener Data Volume 2. What sustainability topics do you feel will be discussed amongst ITW attendees and why?
Yeah. So first, let me, Jaymie, I want to thank you and your team for giving me the opportunity to participate in this process. I think JSA is just stepping forward with your leadership and your team's leadership in what is just an absolute critical subject that needs to be addressed. Right? It needs to be visible. It needs to be front and center. So first of all, thank you for that opportunity. Listen, I think this is a topic that I will be surprised if it's not the number one topic that comes out of the back end of the conference that most people are going to address, particularly around the data center sector within digital infrastructure. We are such a dominant user, and I think it's critical that this is visible, it's present, it's being discussed, and it's on everybody's strategig agenda. And I think it'll be one of those topics, and I think we'll cover the spectrum of it, right? I mean, part of the chapter that I was able to address did cover that spectrum, right? It's a lot of people associate sustainability with kind of that front end, some of the bigger chunkier implications around power, right, and the
Right.
contribution of power and the impact of that. But what I certainly learned as I went through this process, and what we learn is that's one piece for us to really optimize sustainability as data center operators. It's power, it's alternative power solutions, it's getting inside the data center, it's design and configuration, it's getting in and working with our technology partners around efficiency of processing and compute of data demand that these ecosystems are generating. So I just think this is such a great opportunity for us collectively as an industry to really be able to gravitate around, what is the right strategy collective for our industry, and how can we make an impact on sustainability. So this is going to be a subject that I think will come out as one of the number one topics of this conference. And I'm excited about the discussions that we as an industry are going to have, that I'm personally going to have around sustainability. And I'm looking forward to the outcomes and the results and the ideas and innovation that'll come out of those discussions. So certainly looking forward to addressing sustainability within the ITW conference this year.
So well said, Scott. You are clearly speaking my love language. I couldn't agree more with every word. And I too am so excited about learning more on how we can get more greener as we go, as an ecosystem, as our industry. And I'm sure ITW will provide us further fodder there. All right. So, from a DartPoints standpoint, what are some of the conversations that, besides sustainability, what other key topics do you think attendees are going to be speaking about at this conference?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think, I think, I talked about sustainability. I think
Right.
the panel that I'm on is one that'll be deeply addressed around M&A. Plays a critical path in how our industry moves forward. I think the financial availability of capital is always a hot topic. Whether you're in the fiber side, whether you're in the data center side, whether you're in the tower side, right? This is an industry that requires a significant amount of capital. How do we make sure that capital is available and it continues to support the tailwinds and the demands? Right, we're in an era, regardless where you sit within this industry, where that demand is at an unprecedented level, right? And that requires a lot of capital to be able to support that, whether it's bringing more capacity into the market, whether it's sustainability that we're trying to address as part of that growth, right? Having the right capital partners and the right the right amount of capital stack to be able to execute against that is an important piece. So I think all of that will continue to be hot topics. I think those will be conversations, whether you're in a formal way, in a panel, or in in some sort of a meeting, or individual informal conversations. I think some of the topics there are going to be critical to what all of us collectively want to get as we enter into ITW for next week.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And as you mentioned earlier too, this with the backdrop of our economy globally slowing down. What does this mean as we look forward into 2024 and beyond? Well, thank you always, Scott, for sharing such insight. You are such a thought leader, and we are honored that you took your time days before ITW to come and share your insight and get a little peek into your panel. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to catching up in person at ITW.
Thanks, Jaymie. I look forward to seeing you next week. I appreciate it.
And for those tuning in, I sure hope you do. You keep your eye out for JSA TV's coverage of all things ITW. We are broadcasting live off the floor of ITW. Very honored to be ITW's media partners there. So again, May 14th through the 17th, tune in to JSA TV Live, and you get all these amazing thought leaders like Scott within our digital infrastructure space, sharing their latest news and insights. I mean, live off the floor. And when I say we are live broadcasting, we are simulcasting, guys. We're on LinkedIn, X, YouTube, JSA.net, and more. So go ahead and check us out. Follow JSA on LinkedIn for all the details. Meantime, be sure to check out our full Know Before You Go briefing powered by JSA and Telegeography, covering everything attendees should have on their radar at ITW, from insider talking points to conference logistics. Thank you, everybody. And as always, happy networking, and see you soon at ITW.